Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, welcome in. Glad you're along for the ride as we launch our new drug today, Hump Day, as we get set for another week of football. I will tell you, we just talked during the break. Now I feel better.
What happened?
Well,
I mean, I heard Max's fantastic update.
the word is out. You ready for this?
Yeah, what?
Here's my start fast.
Is that the key?
You know what? I mean, I never thought of that.
Start fast.
Start fast, Billy.
As opposed to slow.
Listen. I think of a lot. It's out of the box thinking.
Starting the game fast.
So there you go.
That will be very interesting. I wonder if that would work in...
UCF's going to come in there and beat them, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Would that work in aviation? Like, should you get the plane moving fast before you take off?
I love it. I love the idea. KJ Jefferson's going to rush for 211. Okay.
Without a doubt.
And 3 touchdowns.
And apparently they've got a kid that reminds Napier of Trevor Etienne.
Where's number 7? Just like Etienne.
So,
did.
I mean, you can count on him getting 313 on the ground on 19 carries.
He must only be good enough to be a backup.
Yes, exactly right. And he's too going to transfer.
He's bad in pass pro, but it won't matter when UCF completes and attempts 9 passes in the game.
KJ Jefferson, 4 of 9 for 13 yards. UCF wins that 38-10.
Right.
There's that. So, all right, a lot of things to talk about today on the program. We'll talk certainly about the Jaguars. The Jaguars hump day and what is a critically important game. The shame of the struggles is the struggles feel like they're as much a story. They're the story. And it's such a magical week. It's such a magical week with Tom going into the pride of the Jaguars, and he's so deserving. So freaking deserving. That's one. You talk about never having a dissenting vote. There will be no dissenting votes on that one. I can promise you that. So, and I can't wait to see the throwbacks. I mean, I know what they look like. There's no mystery. I watched that team for many years in them. But are you excited? You're not a uniform guy. You're excited about that, aren't you?
I'm not a uniform guy, but this is something that gets me excited because it gets the fans excited. And so, yeah, and I think they're sharp uniforms. So, I mean, yeah, I enjoy them. And but I just think it's cool whenever there's something that the fan base is really excited about. And so, yeah, it's got all the makings of being a great day. It's just a shame this team isn't 2-2. And, with a chance to, get a big division win, move to 3-2, going to London, chance to pick up a couple more. That's what this should be. That should be the storyline. Poor Tom Coughlin on Fridays being asked about the struggles of the current team, and to his credit, he didn't answer it. But it's just like, how did this happen? How did it get so bad so quickly? It's staggering. Things can change fast in the NFL, but this is staggeringly fast.
Yeah.
What's happened to this team from 8-3 to now 1 win in their last 10 games?
And they're in that stretch where they're in that abyss where they can't find their way out. They know how to get out. They know they'll be better when they get out, but they're just locked in that abyss. And we've all seen it, Hays. You get locked in that abyss, and it's just hard as heck to get out of it. And that's where they are right now. So I will say this. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. The State Farm College Football Report is at 5 o'clock. No Brett Hastings today. Typically, he would be with us at 4:20, but he's in court. So he's doing his real job. Or I like to say his other job.
We can't get the judge to throw that into a recess?
He's doing a side hustle is what it is. That other job. So, but we will have Brett maybe later in the week. But he has a good topic today. We'll get to it. I'll give you an idea what that is later. But he won't. I don't think he'll be on today. Because he's doing his real job. So we'll talk about that. We got a lot of things to get to. We'll talk about certainly Florida UCF coming up. We'll talk about Florida State, Clemson, which I was thinking about this. I'll get to it later. Boy, has that thing changed. In the Chris Weinke days, they blew them out. Then Clemson, when they start winning national championships, they're hanging 50 spots. They're hanging half 100 on the Knolls. Then all of a sudden, FSU was the better team. You blink and they're a 14-point home dog.
It's incredible.
Talk about flipping and how does FSU? I'm going to say this later in the program. How does FSU solve it? How do you solve it?
Talent, which they're not going to be able to find this year.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've got to go out and they've got to improve their high school recruiting. They honestly, he's been a little bit better, but he really didn't take advantage of going 13-0 last year, and then obviously finishing 13-1. Like, you didn't really see that success and all the positive publicity that came with that. It didn't really translate as much as you might have liked it to on the recruiting trail. and now your job's a lot harder. So
they just had a big decommitment yesterday from a 4-star wide receiver.
Is that
from
right?
South Carolina, yeah.
So I mean, I think in looking at it, it's going to start with talent. Now what he can sell is, I'm not going anywhere. I've got this long-term contract, so I'm going to be your coach, but it's going to be a tough sell. I mean, and he can offer early playing time, but in terms of getting it turned around, he's going to have to go back into the portal. I know he doesn't probably want to do that to the level that he's had to in the past after getting burned like this, but I don't see any other way around it because they've got no talent on this team. They've got maybe 5 good young players, but they don't have enough. I mean, not to rely on, we're just going to bring in a recruiting class and maybe sign 5 kids out of the portal and hope for the best. That's not going to work.
And they're in that awful no man's land. Mike Norvell is, he's been roundly criticized for being too portal heavy. And that's why last year's team was so good and this year's team is so bad. That's the narrative. And I sometimes think the narrative is way off and people that follow the narrative aren't paying enough attention. But this time the narrative's kind of right. So way too portal dependent. Yet, to your point you made a minute ago, and you're dead right, you can't abandon the portal because then you'll have another losing season next year. So just about everybody other than the Alabamas and Georgias of the world have to lean on the portal, and even those schools have to go get players. I mean, Alabama had to go get Landon Dickerson a few years ago from FSU. Remember that? He was a big part of a championship there. Yeah. Trevor Etienne, the number 1 running back at Georgia, came from the big rival. So even the great schools have to get him. Ohio State's quarterback was a portal guy this year. So even the good teams.
I think the best word I've heard used is supplement your roster with the portal instead of just making your entire roster the portal.
That's correct. And the great teams do that, but we're still at a point where it's just a hard world for Mike Norvell, because what do you do? Because he's got to do more than supplement. So we'll talk about that. So I do want to start with the Jaguar topic, though. The Jaguars have not played very well. They're the only winless team in the league. Right now, they're the worst team in the league. That's what you are, what your record says you are, and your record says you're the worst team in the league. You made a point a minute ago. How in the world did it get from some promise to this? You knew it was a tough schedule to start. They've been in some games, so it's probably going to turn a little bit at some point. But how did it get to this? And everybody's in agreement, and everybody's kind of mystified, and we're all trying to figure out the same thing. So that's how it goes. But this stuff about losing the locker room, I can tell you, I'm around that team a lot. I'm on planes with that team. I'm in hotels with that team. I'm in that building. That's preposterous unless I'm the biggest dummy around. I haven't heard, there's not a sliver of that. So the fact that some reporter, whoever, Jordan somebody or
Schultz,
is reporting that he's lost the locker room, and again, I'm not in the locker room, but I can tell you I haven't heard a whisper of that. Not a whisper of that. I think those players really like those coaches. I think one of the reasons they're bummed out is there's a bond in the look. I've covered teams where that wasn't the case. We all have, and sometimes it's okay for it not to be the case because sometimes hard-ass coaches aren't particularly close to their players. The players are really good. But I am astounded. Again, and listen, Doug comes out in the press conference, and he's asked about play calling. He's asked whether or not he's going to take the headset back. And he said, look, it's a two-way street now. The players have to make plays. We have to coach good plays, and they have to make good plays. And people took it's a two-way street, players have to make plays, as a shot at the players and throwing the players under the bus. I don't think so. I think what he said is accurate. I think the truth is, now, if he's saying that we haven't called any bad plays, well, then he's wrong. But I don't think he was saying the coaches have been perfect, the players suck. I don't think that's what he was saying. I think he was saying we're in it together. But somehow that's been extrapolated to mean that he's down on his players, so the players under the bus losing a play. I'm telling you, Hays, maybe I don't sense a bit. I'm around them. I don't sense a bit of, not one iota of that.
Well, it doesn't make a lot of sense that he would lose the locker room. Defensively, like you said, they have a new coordinator. They're not going to give up on Ryan Nielsen. The players aren't, this early on. And I think, so you look at it from a Doug and a press standpoint, you don't see any signs of it on the sideline.
No.
I mean, you don't see any sort of shouting. I mean, I think Trevor is had a healthy amount of, hey, let's do this. Can we get to this? That kind of stuff you kind of see in games, maybe him making suggestions on whether they should go for it or not. But you don't see a lot of anger. You don't see a lot of, players shaking their heads when coaches come up to make adjustments during the game. So, I would agree. The other thing that was puzzling about the report is he said, I've been hearing this for weeks. Well, that makes no sense. I mean, this has only been about a 4-week problem. Yeah. So is he suggesting that after they lost to the Dolphins, when they played great for the first 43 minutes, he lost the locker room after that? So, yeah, I think and I would agree that I think too much has been made of his comment post-game Sunday about, hey, the players have to make the plays. The players do have to make the plays. I mean, if that hurts your feelings, then wow. Talk about not being able to.
And in fairness to the players, they didn't complain about that comment. It was just in the atmosphere,
right?
It wasn't the players.
Yeah, it wasn't the players.
It wasn't the players saying.
But there was this vibe of, oh, that's gonna. I'll say this. I wrote a column criticizing Trevor Lawrence, and obviously wrote one critical of Doug Peterson the week before. Right. I didn't even mention it, because I just felt like it was one of those things where the only thing he said it was like, well, I think he called a great game.
Yeah.
And then it went back to, hey, players have to make plays. But look, watch the film. If you watch Sunday's film, is it a coaching issue that your star quarterback misses 2 wide open touchdowns? Right. You have drops on top of that. You've got missed blocks, guys just getting out physicaled at the line of scrimmage. I don't get a sense that there's infighting, to your point. I don't know how much harmony there is either, because they are 0-4.
Right.
But I don't think that there's a lot of criticism about. Right. I just think it's a lack of confidence.
Yeah,
I just think their confidence is so low.
No question.
So I don't think it's an infighting thing, at least yet. I think it's more of they're waiting for, when is the next bad thing going to happen?
Agreed.
And when that bad thing happens, it's going to sink us.
And in the press conference, Doug was chippy. Which in 40, he's had 40 post-game press conferences and probably 300 overall pressers since he's been the coach here. He's not like that very often. And I think he knows that. That's why when he showed up on the Monday press conference, I assume he was back to being Doug. He was. I think he was frustrated they lost the game. I think he's frustrated it's 0-4. I think he's frustrated at a lot of stuff, and I think it all kind of that turned into all that.
Yeah,
so, anyway.
And he's not. Look, we've talked about all the strengths of Doug Peterson. Yeah. He's been in this league as a player and an assistant, and as a head coach for a long time. Why is he frustrated? Because he knows he's running out of mulligans.
Yeah.
He's 1-9 in his last 10.
That's right.
So, you have a game that the Texans are trying to hand you on a silver platter that saves the start of your season, and you can't take advantage of that. Obviously, he is going to be emotional and upset, because we all know at 0-4, that is a really, really tough hole to crawl out of.
All of which, the emotion of it, the tension, the reports, erroneous or not, boy, you need to win this week, bro. Boy, if you ever needed something, you need to win this week. So we'll talk a little bit about that game coming up. We'll talk certainly talk some college football with the college guys coming up at 5:00. Baseball, interesting start to the baseball season. A lot of good pitching, by the way. 2 shutouts. 2 shutouts yesterday, the 4 games. You don't see that every day. Fernando Valenzuela, I got a thought about him. He's had to step away for some health reasons. I hope he's okay. I was a big fan of Fernando. We got a lot of stuff to get to today. So we're glad you're with us on this Wednesday installment of our program. Our Wednesdays are always brought to you by our friends at Ricketts Electric. They're the best in the business. My friend Zach Ricketts, gosh, what a good job they do. 904-320-5960. If you have any electrical needs, commercial, residential, if you're building a home, if you want one of those whole home generators that we all kind of wish we had a week ago, by the way. If you want one of those, they're the best to do it. So give them a call at 904-320-5960. That is Ricketts Electric. It's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday. More in a moment. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Ease into game day a full 5 hours before kickoff with the Terminix Kickoff Show.
It's incredible, but beautiful, huh?
Live from Tailgaters Park.
Hey, beautiful, beautiful.
Brought to you by Gatorade and Clearwater Irrigation on 1010XL.
Who has the best lineup this season? Honda. Cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, hybrids, and electric. This is one of the greatest lineups Honda has ever had. And now is the best time to purchase or lease one. Visit your local Honda dealer now. Remember, only a Honda is a Honda.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Poker players, brace yourselves. The World Poker Tour storms into Best Bet Jacksonville October 31st to November 19th, and the forecast calls for massive prize pools. Event 1 has a cool $200,000 guarantee. Event 6, a downpour of $300,000. And the main event, a flood of a $1 million guarantee. WPT Championship satellites are already brewing. Don't get left high and dry. Head to bestbetjacks.com for details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Kuhn Flowers and 1010XL encourage you to help those devastated by Hurricane Helene in the Big Bend area of Florida. Kuhn's will be sending a relief truck to Perry, Florida Friday morning to encourage you to stop by their Beach Boulevard location to donate tarps, blankets, first aid kits, bottled drinking water, diapers, flashlights, laundry detergent, towels, and toilet paper. Any amount will help and is appreciated. Their truck leaves Friday morning, so stop by Kuhn Flowers, Beach Boulevard with your donations today.
Homeowners, listen up. The Fed has taken action, lowering rates for the first time in years, and Loan Pronto has followed suit by lowering mortgage rates big time. Prosser here. Loan Pronto just locked in a homeowner at 4.59% APR, the lowest in 2 years. Whether you got your loan last month or last year, it's time to call Loan Pronto and dump that high-rate loan. You can lock in a lower rate fast with virtually no paperwork and usually no appraisal. There's no limit on how many times you can refi, so get started. Even if you're in process with another lender, give Loan Pronto a call. If you act now, you can even skip your next 2 house payments. Purchase loans available as well, so call now. Get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, MLSconsumeraccess.org.
The experts at AMCO have been fixing cars for almost 60 years. Over that time, they've gotten more complex than ever. That's why our techs undergo rigorous training and certifications, so they can fix anything, including the most complicated repairs that come with some of the latest technologies. After 60 years, there's nothing we haven't seen or fixed. It's how we know cars inside and out.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia.
1010XL's running game takes a giant step forward.
Well, Fred Taylor is the whole package.
Fred Taylor joins Dan and Jeff on the drill. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein & Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe. I want to talk to you about picking the right battles to fight in this life. Every day, we have opportunities to get upset and angry. But I want you to realize that sometimes you have to ignore in this life so that you can soar into the kingdom of heaven. My encouragement, friends, to you is to pick the right battles to fight. Fight only battles that help you draw closer to God, because you have to ignore so that you can soar.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Bari here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Bari Orthopedics today or visit bariorthopedics.com.
Injured in an accident? Have mounting medical bills? Can't work? Don't worry. Zach's got your back. I'm Zach Von Rowan of Von Rowan Law. I will fight for the compensation that you deserve. Set up your free consultation at zachsgotyourback.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday on The Frangie Show. Ricketts Electric, the power connection you can trust.
I will always take our friends from Ricketts Electric. Like I said, the best in the business, whatever it is you need. Here's the odd thing about this game, Carlyon. You've beaten them 10 years in a row here. Last time they won here was in 14. They won. The Colts won 44-17. Jags weren't very good that year. Since then, they have not won a game here. Jags have also won 4 of the last 5 in the series. So you've dominated the Colts. That's good and bad. The good is you've dominated the Colts, and here they come. And I really like Anthony Richardson, the kid, very much, and I would be rooting like crazy for him if he was playing for somebody other than a rival. But it's weird in where most Jaguar fans would tell you they would prefer to see him than the backup, maybe because the backup beat you with the Browns last year. But if you look at how bizarre the circumstances, we already talked about how weird it is that he's losing the games. But you're playing a game you're dominated, the team you've dominated. The problem is, Hays, if you lose that, it's even worse because they haven't won here in 10 years. And they're playing with a young quarterback or a journeyman quarterback. And it's the day you put on those old uniforms that were so magical. And by the way, let me say it again, for what it's worth, it may never happen. If you asked me, I would go back to those uniforms, and that's what I would wear. I would. Then I think by next year they can change again. Isn't it every 5 years you're allowed to change?
It's something like that.
I think like every 5 you can't.
I'd love if they went back to that.
You can't. You can change your primary color, which one's your primary one. Change your alternate to your primary, but you can't change your design for 5, which is a good rule because you don't want people, in fairness to your consumers, they go buy a shirt and you change it every year. So I get that. But I think I may be wrong about this. I'm going to be talking out of turn. But I think next year is the year you can change your uniforms for the Jags. It's something like that.
It would make sense because wasn't it like 14 when they introduced the terrible 2-colored helmet?
In the gold, the all gold, the bold gold.
Was that the 2013 or 14?
Somewhere. I know they wore them prominently in 17. The good year they wore them a lot, but might have been.
So it would line up.
But I think they went I think they went from those to these, with the ones that don't have a lot of trim, no gold in them at all, other than in the helmet. I think it had to be around 5 years ago, so somewhere thereabouts. To your point, every 5-year increment. But anyway, I would go back to these. I think this is the signature. I like traditional uniforms, and I think this is their tradition. And by the way, if you go really all the way back, no more black pants either. If you go all the way back, teal and white on the road, teal and white at home, white and white on the road. That's it. That's your uniform. You don't have to release every week what the uniform combo is because you know. Alabama doesn't release their uniform combos, by the way, okay? You know how they don't do it. Let me tell you what they wear.
They don't get dressed up in elephant costumes?
No, they don't.
The Gators did a few years ago?
Remember that? Let me tell you what Alabama does.
Worst jersey of all time.
Alabama wears crimson helmets. They wear crimson jerseys and white pants at home. They wear white jerseys and white pants on the road, and that's what they freaking do.
And they put a number on the helmet.
And they put a number on the helmet.
Simple as that.
Yeah, and so they're not. So, but I think the Jags. If
2013, quickly, by the way, was when they did that. With the helmet.
But I would go back. So anyway, but I mean, I'm just telling you, the intrigue in this game, and I'll say what I said yesterday. If you can just let it, just go play, man. Just go play. Yeah, last week I made all these recommendations. They should play Tank Bigsby more. They should play some of their backup linemen more.
They should.
Yeah, they should. I mean, yeah, he's averaging. I think he leads the NFL in yards per carry.
He does. I mean, he doesn't have enough carries to qualify. But if you include his number, then absolutely.
Yeah. But I made this week isn't about the changes they should make. This week is about somehow play free and easy.
Have some pride.
Yeah, play. Well,
I mean, good Lord.
But
You've lost 4 in a row. You're 1 of 9 in your last 10.
Yeah, but what I think, Hays, my take on it, it's not a lack of pride. It's a lack of, you said it earlier, they're in that awful area now that when something goes wrong, they get rattled and they don't play well. I'm telling you, it started with that dang fumble in Miami.
Without a doubt.
It is. From that moment forward, they feel like a tentative team, a tepid team.
And they're terrible late.
Yeah,
they scored 3 points in the fourth quarter this season.
So play free and easy, play loose, go play like you're playing in the backyard. I know that's a cliche, but I think what better time to do it than when they're honoring Tom and you're finally back home and you got the throwbacks. What a great time to
I
go
suggest
do it.
we adopt the term grit.
Yeah, you know what? This would be a great time to have grit. Yeah. So anyways, but so 2 or 3 things about the game. Number one, they don't know if they're having Josh Hines-Allen, right?
It'd be tough. He didn't practice today.
So he's probably not. So
boy, it's
you don't
tough.
know. I shouldn't say that, but
you don't know. But for a concussion to come back in a week, I'd say that's like a 10% chance.
And no word on Oluokun, but I will tell you this: if he does play, I'd play him with.
Well, he's on IR.
Yeah, well,
so he's out. You mean Devin Lloyd?
I meant Devin. I said Oluokun. There's no. Yeah, Oluokun's down for 4 games.
Yeah,
I meant Devin Lloyd. No
Devin
word on
didn't practice today, but that doesn't mean that he won't.
Right, but no word on Devin Lloyd. But if Devin Lloyd did play, I'd play him and Ventrell, not him and Muma. I would leave Ventrell in.
Yeah, you definitely need to see more out of Miller. I mean, for sure. After what you saw last week.
Yeah. So I would do that. So for me, I worry about the guys that are out. I worry about Josh Hines-Allen being out, and I hope Trevor cuts it loose. I hope, and they got to run the ball. I know that, but I hope Trevor, those 2 misses, he knows he missed them. He knows he missed. He knows those throws were off. I'll bet he can't wait to get going. I liked his presser today. I like the way he dismissed the whole coaches losing the locker room thing. That's as close as I've seen him to. He's such a nice guy. That's as close as I've seen him to look at a reporter and go, "What are you talking about?" That's as close as he got to it. He didn't do it like that because he's just too nice a guy to do it. But he said, "I'm not going to talk about that."
Yeah.
So
and he said, I understand you have to ask the question.
Yeah.
This needs to be a game where Trevor Lawrence is 24 or 28.
That's right.
I mean, and he's fared well against the Colts before, so I think it fits his eye. And what Gus Bradley likes to do, and so let's see it. But this needs to be a game where you're coming out of that stadium saying the franchise is back. Trevor Lawrence looks like he's found himself. Whatever slump he was in, he is out of. He's got to stop missing touchdown throws. That cannot happen again. I mean, it's going to happen again, but it needs to. And we need to be like past Halloween before that happens again.
Trevor at home against the Colts. Compliments to our friend Jamal St. Cyr from Channel 4. At home against the Colts, 639 yards, 6 touchdowns, 74% completion percentage, 110 quarterback rating, and a 3-0 record. So he's been very good here against the Colts. Very good overall against the Colts, but very good here against the Colts.
DeForest Buckner's on IR. They haven't had him for a while. So
there's so many reasons you have to win this thing. You have to find a way. So we'll see. We'll talk more Jaguars as we go. When we come back, though, I got a thought about the Knowles. I'm going to get to it coming up. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Now, the Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville. Drive to the game in luxury with Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.
Jacksonville needed a drive that would give them life while in enemy territory, and the Golden One would lead the way in the team's mission to take back the reins of the ball game. Thanks to a 7-play sequence capped off by a Christian Kirk touchdown, the Teal and Black would regain the lead with 6:16 left in the third. The 74-yard drive is your Randy Marion Cadillac Drive of the Game.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Frank Frangie here, and it's time to beat Big Joe. Each week, my buddy Big Joe from Bono's Barbecue will pick 10 college football games. Pick more wins than Big Joe that week. You'll get entered into a drawing to win a $25 Bono's gift card. If you pick more wins than Joe all season long, you'll be entered to win the grand prize: 2 tickets to the SEC Championship game, 2 tickets to the Dr. Pepper tailgate party, and $1,500. Enter to win on the Bono's app. The contest ends on November 23rd. Grand prize winner will be named on the 25th. If you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Hobby boxes of 2024 Donruss Elite Football hit shelves this morning. The ever-consistent Elite has Pen Pals, which are some of the rookies' first on-card NFL autograph cards. 2024 Donruss Elite Football now at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Looking for an affordable and fast oil change? Well, Big Chief Tire has you covered. Frank Frangie here. Right now, take $10 off your next oil change at any of their 5 convenient locations. Their skilled technicians will keep your car running smoothly so you can hit the road with confidence. Whether it's routine maintenance or a more extensive service, Big Chief Tire is here to help. Visit BigChiefService.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your appointment and take advantage of this great deal. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
He used to catch passes for Spurrier.
Oh, my! What a great catch in the corner!
Now he throws opinions at Napier. Chris Doring, Tuesday mornings on The Drill. Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah on 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here, and I can't say enough good things about the team at Sunshine Turf and the work they've done for us. Let Sunshine Turf transform your backyard into a low-maintenance oasis that will be green all year long with artificial turf. Caleb and his team can help you create the lush outdoor space of your dreams, whether you want a durable place for your kids to play or you're ready to say goodbye to muddy paw prints. Visit sunshineturf.info or call 904-383-0243 for a free quote today from Sunshine Turf.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
They're out to test our reputation as the best plumber in Jacks, so we gotta play like the experts we are. Now, who are we?
Roland Reach Plumbing!
Now that's what a winner sounds like.
Customers always win with Roland Reach Plumbing at plumberinjacks.com.
Hello, I'm Jerry Holland, Duval County Supervisor of Elections. Are you ready for the presidential election? The clock is ticking. In Florida, you must register to vote 29 days before an election, which is Monday, October 7th. Please check your voter information before voting. If you've moved, visit us at northfloridavotes.com and update your address. Remember also, avoid the long lines on Election Day and vote early. Check your sample ballot for the nearest location. We'll see you at the polls.
Welcome to ABS Advanced Business Solutions, your local authorized technology partner and home to Xerox copiers.
Advanced Business Solutions.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Are the company's Zoom calls getting boring? Might be a good time to order some new logo caps or temporary tattoos. Check them out online at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
This is Dr. James Perry, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
After Anthony Richardson left Sunday's game with an injury, veteran quarterback Joe Flacco came in to win the game for the Colts. The Jaguars will be tasked with preparing for the contrasting playing styles of the two quarterbacks. Here's Doug Peterson on the challenge of the game planning, two quarterbacks with very different playing styles.
Kind of know both guys. You know, we saw Anthony Richardson, last year, obviously, first game, and we know how talented he is. We've seen already his ability to throw the football, this year. Flacco, we know from last year being in Cleveland and what he can do, as well throwing the football. I mean, it's a challenge either way, and you just got to trust your game plan.
I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday on The Frangie Show. Ricketts Electric, the power connection you can trust.
All right, so I got an admission to make. I sometimes get caught up in these Instagram reels. You ever do that?
I don't get on Instagram much. I should. I probably like it.
JJ, you ever do that? Do you ever go down the rabbit hole?
I don't have Instagram, but I have YouTube. So the YouTube shorts are like the exact same thing, and I'll look up and be like, wow, it's been an hour.
Yeah, same here. It'll be an hour. You don't know. I do it. They're Instagram reels, and I'll do it.
My kid's Avery and Jackson. That's like all they look at.
And the algorithm is amazing. They'll give you. I mean, I'll look up and what a coincidence.
I'll be like, I just watched an hour of videos from a Korean convenience store, shorts, for no reason.
Well, I probably don't do that. but I mean, I'll go, gosh, it's amazing. They just showed me a whole bunch of Springsteen, Billy Joel. I'm like,
they know you.
And then all of a sudden, there's all these golf tips, right? So I'll go for an hour. Okay. I mean, Suzanne will walk in and go, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, what I'm doing, if I can hood the club a little bit more." so I get caught up in these things, right? So I'm terrible about that.
I get in a lot of trouble for picking up my phone at home, but I'm more on Twitter than or X.
I mean, me too. I'm more of an X guy.
I pick up that phone and there's trouble.
Same. And in fact, I try and I put that damn thing down.
I need to just start literally leaving the phone in my car, and not even bringing it in the house. But I love the phone.
I'm the same. The phone's awesome.
And I've become the person that I can't just not have some content at all times. Like if there's a commercial and I'm not, I'm live. I'm going to pick up my phone and be okay, it's 3 minutes to go through and see what's going on. And that doesn't go over
That just shows the age difference because my marriage is completely different.
Yeah, but
that's good.
My girl is on TikTok. I couldn't fathom her telling me to get off
to
my
go to
phone.
dinner.
Yeah, right. That's right. I'm like you. I get in trouble for it all the time too. So anyway, but I'm on it and I see this thing that I didn't know. Notice I'm late to the party on everything. Yeah, I'm an old guy that's late to the party. But I see this thing that I didn't know they had. Silicone muscle shirt.
Really?
Have you ever seen a silicone muscle shirt?
I mean, mine's arriving Wednesday.
Okay. I didn't know. Does everybody know these happen and I didn't?
I don't know what this is.
The silicone muscle shirt, it's a pullover shirt, but it's got abs and muscles. And when you wear it, apparently, you look like you've got abs and muscles.
Really?
It's the greatest thing ever. Okay,
put me down for $7.
Like I'm not getting one of these.
Pretty solid price point at $29.99.
Yes, it doesn't cost right. So like I'm not getting one of these, and I will walk around with it. I will strut.
Oh yeah.
Hey, now do you wear a shirt over that?
Yeah, well,
or do you just wear that?
I'm still learning, but because it's flesh colored, so maybe. But I think you're supposed to wear a shirt over it. Anyway, I'm just thinking, I'm so strutting around with that thing. Hey Frank, hey, you look like you. Well, you know what? Been doing some sit-ups.
Yeah.
I'm a big sit-ups guy.
Working on my core.
Planks. Big planks guy. It's the greatest thing ever. Did you didn't know either?
I had no idea.
JD, did you know this was a thing?
No. But
how do you not? How do I not go buy one? Do they have them at Target? I'm going right now.
Let's drop everything.
I'll carry my ass right out of here.
Yeah.
Put that thing on. Walk in the house today. Go, hey, honey, what do you think?
I mean, most middle-aged men are going after tea at this point, but this is way cheaper.
Oh,
this is $29.99.
I'm right here. Okay, I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, I didn't know they had this. Okay, so you have abs. What's better? Working out, planks, sit-ups, crunches, grinding, or $29.
Just throwing on a shirt. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's my new thing. I'm gonna get a silicone.
Well, you
muscle
should have
shirt.
done it before picture day.
Yeah, I should. Right. We had picture day today.
You totally
I would have
screwed up.
I'd have been flexing in there, strutting in there. I didn't know they had. I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, when we do picture day again in 4 weeks, you can wear it then.
It does seem like we just had a picture day.
Sure. Okay. I'm very excited about this new thing that came across my life when I was going through my Instagram reels. So there's that.
That's cool.
So there you go. To the Knowles for a second. We'll talk to Tom Block in just a moment, as well as Shane and Zagacki. But I hadn't thought about it. Florida looks like it can fix it, or at least try to fix it, because they're going to fire the coach. They're going to fire the coach, and they have this newfound commitment, blah blah blah, and they got the resources. I'm watching FSU. And FSU's as blue of blood as there is. I mean, at least in the last 30, 40 years. FSU, if they had this 12-team tournament 30 years ago, they'd have 5 titles. They already have 3. So They have 3 Heismans. They have 3 titles. Bobby Bowden's one of the most legendary coaches of all time. But as I watch them now, and I thought they had turned the corner because, I mean, Mike Norvell won 23 games in a 2-year period. It's a lot of games, man. And the way college football, the way football is today, because coaches make so much money, if you have a bad stretch, they want you fired. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter what level. You had a bad stretch, fire them, right?
I mean, it's ridiculous, but there's, you hear people talking about Kirby Smart being 1-6 against Alabama, and how could they not be ready? And
right.
It's like, guys, he's won you 2 national titles. He's the most dominant coach right now in the country.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked at an NFL hot seat because everyone wants to tell me Doug Peterson's on it. Number 1 guy is Nick Sirianni. He just went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, he should be on it.
Yeah, but I get your point. But he still pushed his way to the Super Bowl a blink ago.
Yeah.
So my point is, back to the Noles. I wonder, can they fix this? Because I don't know their personnel like I know Florida's, because I'm a Florida fan. I went there and I follow it more closely. But I don't see now Cam Davis, the 230-pound running back I like, but I don't know, Hays, if there's enough. Because they've dropped so far so fast. Brock Blues said it last night. Blues funny, we laugh, but he made a good point. Brock Glenn's not a very good quarterback.
No,
and he's now
not
your
from
guy.
what we've seen.
He's now your guy. I mean, are we going to look up and can FSU climb out of this again? They climbed out of it before, as evidenced by the last 2 years. Can they? And by the way, for the Noles fans, oh, Frank, what about your Gators? No, I'm not sure the Gators do either. Okay, we've had that talk.
Right.
The Florida State talk's a new one.
But Florida is getting ready to relaunch.
Right. Whether it works
now, they
or
may
not.
get it wrong again.
That's right. Whether it works or not, you know what their plan is.
Right.
Can FSU correct this? And can they use? I asked you in the first segment, how does FSU correct it? And your answer was they've got to have more of an impact in the high school recruiting world, which is of course the answer. But can they? Can this? And how quickly? When everybody else is doing the portal thing, it is so bizarre. The FSU collapse is more surprising to me than the Jags. And the Jags started going forward shocks me. But FSU won 13 games last year. FSU did not lose a game in the regular season last year. They lost 0 regular season games, and now, for all practical purposes, they ought to be 0-5. They found, give them credit, they found a way to win the game.
Yeah.
They certainly could be 0-5. Can they fix it? I guess that's, and this isn't a Mike Norvell question. Can they get? It just feels kind of lost to me for them.
I would agree, because you look at scoring in the ACC. So Florida State has scored 76 points this year in 5 games. 76 points. Let me give you what other ACC schools have scored. And again, I don't think Florida State's played a murderer's row. Yes, they have not played a Samford. They have not played a Division II school where maybe you'd put up 60 points. But I also would argue that Georgia Tech and Boston College and Memphis and SMU and Cal is not exactly, a gauntlet either. Florida State has scored 76 points. The other schools in the ACC have scored 168, 144, 247, 149, 211, 166, 121, 108, 135, 165, 194, 92, that's Cal. That's the only school close to them. 137, 172, 152. Florida State has scored 76 points this year.
That's amazing.
And their head coach is an offensive guy. So, yeah, I mean, I think unless they can find the next Jordan Travis, I think that they're in a real tough spot, because what that tells me is it's not just Uiagalelei.
Right. Well,
he's not good, but if they had the normal Florida State run game, receivers that maybe you could throw something simple to and they take it to the house, defensively they've been a little bit better, but they're still not what they should be. The whole offense is awful. They've got great special teams too. So as you move forward, you're probably next year not going to be as good in the special team, the kicking game, as you are with this club. And
what I wonder though, Hays, is would those other areas be better if they were more dynamic or efficient at quarterback? Jordan Travis was both, but if they had a quarterback who was even serviceable, if they had Jackson Dart, it doesn't have to be a great one. If they had Jackson Dart, would it not look like this? And I don't know that answer, But I think DJ Uiagalelei is really not very good. Now look, he had 21 touchdowns and 6 picks last year at Oregon State, so his numbers weren't horrible there. But I think he's really, and they don't respond to him. And you might be right. It might not matter who the quarterback was because they're not good at the other spots either. They did lose a lot of good players. It just, I guess it really hit me watching the SMU game. That looked like Vanderbilt playing Georgia. That looked like, or maybe that's extreme, Vanderbilt playing LSU. And I don't know if they can come back. It's really intriguing. Again, I don't know that Florida can either, but I think Florida's firing their coach. And I think Florida, whether, like you said, they may get it wrong again. I'm not convinced Kiffin goes there and wins all the titles, okay? Even if he's the guy.
They may end up with Jamie Chadwell.
Yeah, right.
You can't discount that.
But you do know but at least they're doing an about face. And it seems pretty obvious they're going to do an about face.
Correct. And what I mean by that is they might hire another guy that's not going to be able to get it done at this level.
Right. That's right. So, but I just wonder, let's say, what's Florida, realistically, what's Florida State's record going to be? 3-9?
Yes.
Probably 3-9. Okay,
They'll beat Charleston Southern,
and they'll fall into another one.
I think they'll beat North Carolina.
Yeah. And listen, they could beat Florida. They could beat Duke. They could win 5 or 6. But
Duke's 5-0.
Yeah, but if I had to guess, if I'm guessing, I'm going to guess 3-9. I'm going to guess.
Even if it's 4-8.
Yeah, right. So let's
that's
say
a historical bomb.
So let's say it's 3-9 or 4-8 for the sake of the conversation. Okay. Next year comes around. Someone's got to play quarterback. Maybe
you open with Alabama.
Yeah, right. You start with Alabama, then you play your ACC schedule, and Luke Kromenhoek might be good, maybe, or you might go get a guy in the portal. I mean, everyone's doing it. They might have no choice. But what happens if you look up next year and they're 5-7 or 6-6? Obviously, you fire the coach because everybody fires the coach.
But that's the thing. Can they? Like, how soon can they buy their way out of Norvell's
10-year deal?
Yeah. Maybe they'll find the money, but boy, that seems like.
Yeah. Am I nuts too to think this? I thought the Billy Napier thing was going to work. Scared money don't make money. I was excited.
I was too.
It didn't. It's clear. He's not a particularly good football coach. He's probably a wonderful guy and relates to players, but
not at this level.
It's clear he's not a particularly good big time football. Okay, but I'm not there with Norvell yet. I was convinced Mike Norvell is a good coach. Is he maybe not?
I think he's Jordan Travis. I think Jordan Travis was an exquisite college football player. Covered a lot of warts.
And maybe that's it. Well,
if you look at Florida State's record by the years, without Jordan Travis, they've sucked for a pretty 6 or 7 years. They've had a losing record like 5 of their last 7 seasons.
Napier beats Norvell in Tallahassee 2 years ago. If Jordan Travis doesn't pull off arguably the 2 greatest escapes I've ever seen in my life.
And they lost to Wake that year. Yeah. Besides last year, it really wasn't – they weren't killing everybody. Okay, so
and they didn't really play anybody that was of consequence last year.
They beat LSU.
Correct.
But JJ,
then it was kind of a soft schedule.
JJ, you made the best point of all. And maybe I'm just living in the past. Because JJ's point is – it's not like FSU went from 28 years of undefeated to being bad.
They're like 5-7.
You could make the point that the last 2 years were the outlier. That's kind of what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you're right. It's a good point.
And I do have Norvell's buyouts. Whoa. Yeah. So it's not going to be after next season.
What are they?
$54.5 million after 2025.
Wow.
$45.5 million after 2026. Damn. And then it drops a little, 36. So $10 million every single year. So even in 2030, after that season, it would still be a $9 million buyout. But in the next 3 years, it's not happening.
And
way.
Again, given his last 2 years, it shouldn't happen.
No.
But it's really anyway. That whole thing is fascinating to me that it went this badly. I mean, again, when they played Georgia Tech, I didn't walk away from that game thinking they were a lousy team. I felt like Georgia Tech had won 4 of their last 6 games last year. They'd only lost to Georgia and Clemson.
It's in Ireland.
It's week
0.
It came down to a 52-yard or 44-yard field goal at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I didn't walk away thinking they're a mess. I just walked away thinking, okay, it's one of those games.
And what was so stunning is the best they've looked this year was that first drive in the first game against Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
When they went right down the field and scored.
54-10. What were you thinking?
Yeah, and then they got the 2-point conversion off of the cool swinging gate play.
Right. We all thought 54-10.
And it's like, oh, wow, they're up 8-0 on Georgia Tech already. They're getting ready to win 12 games again or more.
That's exactly how it felt. FSU's ticked off. Remember that? FSU's ticked off.
This is the revenge tour.
I mean, all over Twitter. After that first touchdown, you think FSU's ticked off? You wouldn't want to be Georgia Tech right now.
And then
over it.
It just disappeared. Yeah. I mean, it's really.
Well, that's probably the best game they played.
Yeah, they've been outscored on the season by 47 points.
Yeah,
I mean, weird. So again, a lot of these games haven't been particularly close.
Yeah, it's just the whole thing. It's truly a bizarre circumstance. And we'll see what happens. Let's take a break. Speaking of that, we'll talk to the college guys, Shane Matthews, Tom Block, and Joe Zagacki. They're next. It's the State Farm College Football Report. Stick around.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Every special teams player waits for his number to be called.
We got this.
After the game, we call the Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game.
Game ball, baby.
On 1010XL.
Good job, team.
Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Let's start the debate. Why would someone buy a new car from you? We have an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on every new vehicle. We offer a competitive wow price plus free oil changes. How much will someone get for their trade? We offer more than $4,000 over KBV value. Well, we never lose a trade over price. Okay, when is the best time to buy a car? Right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter which side you pick. At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, you get it all. Let us show you why we're the winning vote.
When a plumbing or septic emergency happens, you want to have your ducks in a row with a company you can trust. Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services is the #1 company on the First Coast. Check out our reviews online. DuckDuckRooter.com.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hacker here, and the celebration is getting closer than I expected. On my countdown to 100 pounds. I thought it would take me a lot longer, but I'm already at 98 pounds gone. 4.5 pounds down last week alone. Next week should be epic as I do what I never thought could be done just 6 months ago. Me losing 100 pounds. What's your Awaken 180 goal? Is it hitting a number? Is it losing weight without a life of medications? Or is it just feeling better? Whatever your goal is, bring it to Awaken 180 and ask them how fast you will reach it. But Hacker, I've tried other programs and diets before. Why will Awaken 180 work? It's simple, because if I can do it, anyone can do it. Remember, when I hit that 100-pound mark, we're going to celebrate. I'll keep you updated again next week, but I have a hunch I'll be crossing that 100-pound threshold. In the meantime, pick up the phone and make your own 180. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
O'Reilly. Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's the blog players put their pads on for.
So we want it, we got to bring it.
My thoughts and observations on our home team. That's what I share with you every week on my blog.
Roland Reach Plumbing brings you Hays Blog on 1010XL.com.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Prosser here. I've been telling you for years about Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us. Imagine watching your favorite team in your new Lifetime Man Cave, family hangout, or Lifetime's version of a she shed. And now Lifetime is expanding their replacement window division. Make your home energy efficient with their Energy Star rated windows. Enclosures, flooring, and windows to fit any and all budgets. Visit the showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let Lifetime be your home team.
David Lane here again for Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. After several surgeries for age-old issues, mainly my back and shoulders, there's no doubt that Southeast Orthopedic Specialists is my sustaining resource for living pain-free. Take it from me, and I'm being really honest here, there's no better orthopedic facility here in Jacksonville.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Pickett here for Bout 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bout 9. Visit Bout 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bout 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
Max Fink here with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. Florida State backup quarterback Brock Glenn is gearing up for his first start of the year. The sophomore quarterback started 2 games for the Seminoles last season, being the ACC Championship game win and their blowout loss to Georgia in the Orange Bowl. Having 2 starts under his belt, Glenn has some experience playing in big game environments, which could help him against Clemson on Saturday.
Yeah, they've done a great job. I mean, both were great opportunities, and they've given me good game experience. Obviously, 2 good teams, Louisville and Georgia. So just seeing how fast the speed of the game is in a real game has helped a lot. And that's helped me translate it to practice as well.
Don't be surprised if freshman quarterback Luke Kromenhoek gets some reps under center as well, as Mike Norvell wants to find out the best replacement while DJ is out. It's 83 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time now for the State Farm College Football Report with Shane Matthews on the Gators, Tom Block on the Noles, and Joe Zagacki on the Canes. Presented by your local State Farm agent.
Let's start with Shane Matthews talking Gator football. It is brought to you by State Farm agents Ron McCann, Mike Tosel, Caitlin Duggar, Jason Judy, Catherine Bouster. Shane, much needed off week, but the Gators got a win over Mississippi State. Did they find something there? Was that just about Mississippi State not being very good? I thought Graham Mertz was really good in that game. Did they find a little something, you think?
Well, Frank, the thing that I took out of that game is we came out firing, and we used a lot of our young, elusive wide receivers. And if we continue doing that, we have a chance. Now, Mississippi State was not very good, so I'm anxious to see, with the bye week, do we continue to be somewhat aggressive throwing the football on offense?
Shane, what can get accomplished defensively during a bye week? Billy said that, they had 3 great practices, one of the best bye weeks he's ever been associated with. How can that translate to better defensive performance, in your opinion?
Well, you got to go out and tackle and stop people. You can practice and do Oklahoma drills, or you can be out in shorts and goof around. It doesn't really matter what you do in practice. What happens when you put the real uniforms on Saturday night in the swamp? So it's going to be a task at hand. We know that Gus Malzahn is a pretty good offensive guy. He's very creative, and they're going to run the football. And we had trouble last year stopping KJ Jefferson. I'm hoping we just get aggressive, play some cover zero, and just make KJ Jefferson beat you through the air.
I was just going to ask that. I mean, I know it's never this simple, but, man, do you just stack the box, let your guys play man? And because they're not Florida's terrible against the run. UCF's really good at running it. I mean, do you just put 7 or 8 in there and take your chances, Shane?
I think you do. Jason Marshall Jr.'s had a phenomenal year. He's played really well, so let him lock down who comes to his side or their best receiver. And, yeah, I think you have to. Maybe you kind of fill them out the first series and see what they're trying to do and how can we get any penetration or win the line of scrimmage. If they're consistently running the football, you got to do that. I mean, we have to have a chance to win the game, and it could turn into a shootout Saturday night.
What would it mean for Billy Napier to win this game, in your opinion, Shane?
Well, I think it's crucial, especially having to go to Tennessee next week. To be over 500 would help. And, honestly, it's UCF. I mean, they're coming to our ballpark. I wish they would have won last week, but they're going to be upset a little bit coming into our place. And, UCF, those kind of guys have always wanted to play in the swamp, and maybe a lot of them wanted to be Gators. So it will not be easy for Florida Saturday.
Final thing, the quarterback rotation has been 2 on, 1 off for Mertz and Lagway. I'd rather see him play Mertz, maybe play Lagway a series. And again, I'm fickle because before I said I would play Lagway, but the more I watch, Mertz is the better college quarterback right now. Do you think it'll stay the same 2-1, 2-1? And what would you want to see him do?
Well, I've been a part of that a little bit in the NFL. I did not like it. The teammates didn't like it either. Now, DJ, he's got a certain skill set, but I'm with you, Frank. I mean, this is Graham Mertz's team. If we're going to win some games and beat some teams we're not supposed to beat this year, we're going to have to rely on him throwing the football. But DJ, I don't know if they're going to go with the 2-1, 2-1. Maybe Billy just kind of feels it out and see how the game is going. So we'll have to wait and see.
Shane Matthews checking in from the Gator Radio Network. Thank you, Shane.
Take care, guys.
All right, let's head to Tallahassee now. Tom Block checks in from the Seminole Radio Network. His report is brought to you by State Farm agents Craig Dewhurst, Ramey Alaboo, Margie Williams, Scott Hobson, Brandon Thomas, Tiffany Mapp, and Randy Taylor. Tom, I got to tell you, of all of the games, even in this tough year, the 1-4 start and whatnot, this one was the most shocked me the most. SMU almost, to my eye, seemed to have way more of an easy time with the Noles than I expected. Were you there too? Were you surprised? I know it's a bad start, and people expected him to lose the game, but were you as surprised the way that game went as I was?
I was certainly a little bit surprised it unraveled as quickly as it did. I mean, honestly, it could have been, certainly in my opinion, should have been 14-all at halftime.
Right.
But, as soon as something went wrong in the second half, you could feel the wind go out of the sails, and then it just snowballed from there. And the thing I'm talking about is the interception. Tight end wide open, goes off his hands or face mask,
right,
turns into an interception in plus territory. And, that to me is when it felt like it was over at that point.
Tom, what do they have to do to try to give themselves a chance to have an opportunity to upset Clemson with 5 minutes left in this game, in your opinion?
Yeah, well, I mean, on the one hand, it sounds simple. On the other hand, it sounds difficult, right? But, going back to the second half against SMU, when you look at what went wrong, it really was, and you hear coaches say this all the time, right? But it's one guy here, one guy there. It's a dumb penalty here. It's a missed block here. It's a missed assignment there. They need to focus and lock in and play on the home crowd and play with some pride and, and see where it is at the end. There's a quarterback change, as I'm sure you're aware, with DJU being hurt, and Brock Glenn's going to get a chance. And he's more mobile than DJ, but this is not Tommy Frazier that Florida State's starting, so I don't want to misconstrue that. But maybe just having a new guy in the huddle will change things a little bit, and guys will be a little bit more dialed in this week. I do think it's a really tall task, though, because Clemson is a very good football team.
And, boy, that happened. FSU having it being a tall task against Clemson just happened so fast. I mean, I no one saw that before the season. Final thing, How do you think Brock Glenn will do? I mean, you're right. He's not been a great passer, but he also hasn't had a chance to play very much, and certainly hasn't had a lot of chances where he had a week of preparation and then could get to go play. What are your expectations from him, Tom?
Yeah, I think he will play well, but he has not been dealt a good hand at any point. I mean, the ACC championship game, they really expected Tate to start, and it was the day before, I think, maybe that Brock found out. And then you had the Georgia Bowl game against a really good Georgia team and without 10 NFL draft picks, plus other guys that opted out. And now here you are with the toughest opponent you faced. This will be his third start. It'll be his first one at home. I mean, I expect him to give it a good go, but I don't think Florida State has enough. Their pieces are better than what they're showing, but they're not functioning at the level that they need to be. So if they can somehow figure that out, it'll be an entertaining game. I think that the bigger thing to me for Brock, and I don't know the timeline on DJU, but you go into an off week after this, and this is why some folks thought maybe you should have made the quarterback change in the off week before Memphis. You know, he needs to get a better sample size. You can't just see what happens against Clemson and judge the book. You got to let him be out there a couple of times to really see what he's got. So hopefully he plays well this week and he can build on it.
Tom Block checking in from the Seminole Radio Network. Thank you, Tom.
You bet.
All right, let's head to Coral Gables, where Joe Zagacki is the voice of the Canes, brought to you by State Farm agents Joe McGee and Gene Coleman. Oh, Joe, it was close at the end. What was your thinking? How hard was your heart pounding when that ball was in the air at the end of the game, bro?
Yeah, my heart did a flawless swan dive.
I hear you. Hey, I'll tell you, regardless of how that play was called a touchdown, not called, I'll say this. It's not like Virginia Tech was on the 1-yard line and had a controversial call. It was a Hail Mary, so I think Miami deserved to win the game. But were you surprised Tech played them as close as they did?
No, I thought Virginia Tech was going to give Miami their best game of the year. I think a couple things, Frank. One, that rivalry between Miami and Virginia Tech is a bit underrated.
Right.
And the television ratings were great for it. And I think people are accustomed to seeing Miami and Virginia Tech play. For some reason, the people at the ACC thought it was not important for them to play the last couple of years, which was really dumb. At any rate, they were supposed to be 4-0. They thought they were going to be 4-0 going into that game. The reason they were not 4-0 really was the quarterback did not play well in the first or in those losses. He didn't land some open shots, which would have given them a better chance to beat Rutgers and Vanderbilt. Against Miami, I thought he played really well, and then Miami couldn't tackle the running back, too. And he's a rolling ball of butcher knives. They couldn't tackle him. So they played with a lot of pride, played with a lot of desire, and I think they overcoached the game because I think they put in a couple of things that they didn't need in order to win the game that also cost them in the game.
Yeah, great points. Joe, Ruben Bain back this week. What kind of a difference does that make for this Canes defense?
Well, they've only had him for 3 plays against the Gators, and they've been able to survive it. I think that kind of shows you how deep Miami is this year compared to any other year. If this was any other year, they would have been dead in the water. But he comes back, and they lose Elijah Alston. So Alston played really well while he was gone. But let's face it, Bain was the ACC Rookie of the Year in the league last season. He's one of the best defensive players in college football. He's some people compared him to Reggie White, and he has not been on the field. So he's going to help Miami this week against the Cal running game.
All right, now Miami's better than Cal. Cal's pretty good on defense, not great on offense. Miami's better than Cal, but it's a funky game. It's a game. Yeah. You're going a day early. Game day is going to be there, which has never happened at Cal, I don't think. And then it's a late start. How does all that stuff? There's a lot of stuff with this game, Joe. How does all that stuff affect Miami, and how do they manage all of that?
Yeah, all that stuff I really don't like, and it concerns me. How do they handle it? It really comes down to this. Cam Ward's the guy that's in charge of that game. He's the better quarterback. He's the best player in that game. He's in charge of the ball. He turned it over 3 times against Virginia Tech. 2 of them I thought were careless. He's got to play a great game. Cal's going to build their whole defensive game plan around him. He's great on the second part of the play. There's the play that's called. There's the play that Cam Ward creates. And he's got to be great on those plays because those are back-breaking plays. Cal's defense has not given up more than 14 points or more than 304 yards in a game this year. Miami gets that in the first quarter. So I think those are numbers to keep an eye on. I think Cam Ward's been the guy that's led them all year long. He's got to have the great attitude. He's got to play at a high level, and everybody's got to follow his lead.
Going to be a fun game on Saturday night. Joe, I can't promise you I'm going to stay awake, but I'm going to try. That's what I'll promise.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate that.
Have a great trip out there, Joe. The Canes are playing well. Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Joe Zagacki, the play-by-play voice of the Miami Hurricanes. Before that, Tom Block was talking Knowles, and Shane Matthews checked in talking about the Gators. That is the State Farm College Football Report. We'll take a break. Hayes has headlines on the other side. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Pick the best picks and win a pizza party from Salvatore's Pizza at Tapestry Park. Pick the worst. You'll still win some pizza. Just not enough for a party. The 10-10 Weekly Pick'em Contest is brought to you by MyBookie.
You pick 'em.
At 1010XL.com.
When you're shopping for insurance, you might say, "What? Huh?"
I'm so over this.
But what you really need to say is something that could actually help.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you get a local State Farm agent, they can help make it easy and help you choose the coverage you need. Plus, they're available online, over the phone, or even in person.
I'm so into this.
Call State Farm agent Scott Hobson in Ponte Vedra at 479-9000.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool? Today's contestant, a dust bunny breeder from Jacksonville, Florida, meet Steve Johnson. Welcome to the show, Steve.
It's great to be here, Alex.
Yeah, you don't have to answer in the form of a question, Steve.
What is this game show?
See, that's another question.
Are you going to ask me about air conditioners?
Yeah, okay. How about we just send the Bueller guys over and you can annoy them with all your questions? Johnny? That's right, Steve.
Bueller Air and Plumbing can answer all your air conditioning questions. Repair options, replacement models, and how to make your AC last longer while saving electricity. Making sure you are cool.
Where is the parking lot?
You're killing me, Steve.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by November 7th.
In its final year, we encourage you to help create great futures for young people when you run or walk at Mackenzie's Run, Saturday, November 23rd. Join Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida for a 5K and 1-mile fun run through the beautiful stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. Enjoy food, live music, face painting, family fun, and more at our Runners Village. Register at mackenziesrun.org. Mackenzie's 5K and Fun Run, November 23rd. mackenziesrun.org.
Welcome to ABS Advanced Business Solutions, your local print management partner and home to Xerox and HP copiers.
Advanced Business Solutions.
GoABSinc.com.
When you want to be heard, send your opinion to the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
Thank you for believing in me when the bosses didn't give me a chance.
641-1010. No texting and driving. Get your thoughts heard on 1010XL.
Family owned and managed for 20 years, Hidden Hills Golf Club boasts a unique and welcoming golfing atmosphere. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com to book your next round on our Arnold Palmer signature course. You'll be glad you did.
It's time to take it back to the 90s, Jags fans. Be at the bank Sunday, October 6th as we debut our Prowler throwback jerseys against the Colts and induct legendary head coach Tom Coughlin into the pride of the Jaguars at halftime. Kick off the set for 1 p.m. You're not going to want to miss this matchup. Lock in your seats now by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hays Carlyon for MyBookie. Embrace the start of football season with MyBookie. Take advantage of their live betting, especially if a heavy favorite gets off to a slow start. And be sure to check out all the cool prop bets offered at MyBookie. If you haven't signed up, go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to get a double bonus. For a limited time, MyBookie will double your money on your first deposit. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Jaguars are a 3-point favorite against the visiting Colts. The over-under is 46 points. The Gators are a 3-point underdog to UCF in the Swamp. There's been a lot of movement there. The Noles are a 14.5-point home underdog to Clemson. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. Again, it's a double bonus. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
Attention veterans, the Fed has done it. They've lowered interest rates the moment we've all been waiting for. And at Loan Pronto, they've lowered mortgage rates along with it. It's Prosser here for my friends at Loan Pronto. Listen, if you're a veteran with a current mortgage rate over 6%, Loan Pronto can do a streamlined refi, lowering your monthly payment with no income verification and no appraisal. Veterans can now access up to 100% of their home's equity and turn that into cash. You can get 50, 75, even 100 grand or more with no junk fees and no hassle with an APR in the low fives. So you can pay off all those credit cards, personal loans, and car loans. Veterans typically cut their monthly payments by $850. At Loan Pronto, they respect what you've done for our country, and we show it. Call now for a free rate quote with no credit pull. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell and Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie is here. We've got JJ LaSelva. I am Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell and Harrell. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured or a loved one, give them a call at 251-1111. Frank, Doug Peterson met with reporters earlier today and said, I have not lost the locker room, was asked about a report from Jordan Schultz earlier this week that, in fact, he has.
I thought it was a preposterous story. I say what you want about him, but there's no evidence of that. There's those of us who are around the team all the time, and I'm around them a lot, there's no evidence. There's nothing to suggest that. We've seen when it got tense. We saw when Urban and the players got tense. You knew it well before the Lambeau stuff came out that there was a disconnect there. There's no evidence of that. Trevor Lawrence, I thought, he came as close as he'd ever done to being rude to a reporter. He wasn't. He was very respectful. He told the reporter, hey, I know you got a job to do, but there's no point in me even talking about that because it's not even close.
In terms of injury updates, pretty good news for the Jaguars. No Josh Hines-Allen out at practice today with the concussion, but you knew that was going to be the case. And Devin Lloyd was not able to practice with the knee, but everyone else was limited, including Evan Ingram. Good to see him out there.
Yeah, and boy, is it ever. Boy, do they need him back. I make no mistake about the fact that this collapse last year and this year, this 1-9 record in those last 10 games, they have rarely had Ingram and Kirk together in any of those 10 games. I think they both played against Miami, but for the most part, one of them or both have been gone just about the whole time. Man, it'll be good I can't wait to watch them both on the field with Brian Thomas Jr. emerging as well. You need that.
Absolutely. One of the more staggering stats, I'd say, in the NFL in recent years is that Trevor Lawrence has lost his last 9 starts. Obviously, the Jaguars beat the Panthers late last year with C.J. Beathard starting that game with Trevor out. Trevor Lawrence asked today if how that's affected his confidence.
Yeah, I think, I've dealt with a few of these in my career, unfortunately. It's never fun, and it's like every time it happens, it's just you have to be very thick-skinned, and you have to be just persistent. This is a tough sport, it's a tough game. Every week, especially when you're in a situation like this, you have to be very thick-skinned and have to keep your head down and keep working.
Yeah, and he'll be fine. Again, of all the things I don't worry about with the Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't worry about 16. I know some people do now. But again, it takes quarterbacks a while. Some it doesn't, but some quarterbacks, there's no doubt in my mind, before Trevor Lawrence is done playing football, he's going to be a very good NFL quarterback. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. He's got to play better, and I think he will. I have confidence in that. Let's get it to the Jaguars' opponent on Sunday, the Indianapolis Colts. Coach Shane Steichen says Anthony Richardson is feeling better, but was limited in practice today with the oblique injury. Star running back Jonathan Taylor did not practice today with an ankle injury. 6 other Colts didn't practice as well. So Indianapolis kind of beat up coming to Jacksonville.
Yeah, and that bodes well for Jacksonville, which needs to win in the worst way. You know all that. The Jags have beaten the Colts 10 years in a row here. We all know that. The Jags are off to a disappointing start. The only team in the league without a win. So yeah, you don't ever want to wish anybody to be ill, but the Jags will benefit because there's a lot of Colts not playing.
It certainly seems like the first significant in-season trade of this NFL season will be Las Vegas receiver Davante Adams. You're seeing reports the Saints and the Jets early leaders in the Adams race. The Steelers also being reported as a team to watch out for.
Yeah, the 2 names you saw were the Saints and the Jets, and you also see reports that it won't be the Chiefs. Even if it's not the Saints or Jets or Steelers, the 3 teams people talk about, it looks like the Chiefs, who I thought would be in play, probably won't.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see. I think it'll be the Jets. It just seems like it lines up. I get the Saints connection with Carr, but the Saints are in such cap trouble. It's. I think at minimum you'd have to see this wait another few weeks before Davante could go to the Saints. But something to watch as we get still about a month out before the trade deadline. In New England, the Patriots lose standout center David Andrews to a season-ending shoulder surgery. So a terrible offensive line gets even worse. Coach Gerard Mayo also seems poised to bench running back Ramondre Stevenson after he has fumbled in each of the team's first 4 games. This is something to monitor. The Jaguars play the Patriots in Wembley in 2 weeks.
Yeah, tough sledding for the Patriots. Look, not as tough as the Jags. Jags haven't won a game. But, boy, for a team that was on top of the world for many decades, boy, the fall's been hard, hasn't it?
The fall has been hard. The fall has also been hard in Miami. My goodness, the Dolphins already basically broken on offense. Find out today they've lost star edge rusher Jalen Phillips for the rest of the season with a knee injury. So just Miami might be heading to...
And he just came back.
He just came back. They might be headed to... particularly if Tua decides not to come back, and with each loss, why would you? The Dolphins could be heading to a really, really bad year.
And how hopeless and helpless did they look the other night against a Titans team that's not very good? They played half their game with their backup quarterback. And, yeah, that was the mess the other night for sure.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about attrition in Dallas, and the Cowboys have more. Receiver Brandon Cooks will not play this week as he deals with an infection in his knee from a procedure. So another element of that Cowboys core that will not be out there on Sunday.
And they can't get it right either, can they? I mean, the Cowboys are the same way, man. They can't seem to find it either. So many expectations, back-to-back 12-win seasons, but it doesn't feel like they're headed to one of those this year.
No, it does not. Let's get to Major League Baseball. The Braves lose Game 1 last night against San Diego, so playing for their lives tonight at 8:30. JJ LaSelva, will they push this to Game 3?
I'm going to say yes. I think Max Fried's got a, 8 innings of 1-run ball in him, and maybe the Braves get lucky with a hit by pitch and a 2-run home run like that. They suck at hitting. It's so hard to watch. I don't know why I thought it would be any different when the playoffs started. They looked terrible last night, but I think that Max Fried could get it done and push it to Game 3. Do I expect them to win this series? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't either, but I do think there'll be a Game 3. I kind of agree with you on this.
What do you guys think happens in these? The Astros are in big trouble.
They're about to be eliminated.
They're down 5-2 in the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, they just gave up a bases clearing triple with 2 outs in the 8th inning.
The Tigers are the upstart team this year. They snuck in, and they're about. I mean, the Astros need 3 to avoid elimination in the bottom of the ninth. That's surprising.
They've been to every ALCS since 2017.
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible stat. Meanwhile, Baltimore, my team to win it all, is 1 game from elimination and losing again to the Kansas City Royals. So there's that.
And then you've got Mets-Brewers. The Mets won last night, so the Brewers now on the brink. How do you think that series will go?
Well, I think the Brewers will win tonight, but you're right. I mean, the fact that the Mets scored 8 runs, and all these defensive games, they're the ones that scored a little. Hey, give the Mets credit, man. You know what? All that money, they spend as much as anybody. They probably got the highest payroll, certainly among the top 2 or 3. But it never came to fruition. All of a sudden, you look up, they got a pretty good team. They really do.
Let's get into pop culture, where we have a release date, Frank. for Scream 7. February 27th of 2026. I know where you will be. You and Taylor Dahl will be at the matinee.
Yeah.
Unless they do a midnight showing to see Scream 7.
If you and Taylor get fired on the same day, don't say I didn't warn you. I mean, just good gracious. For people that don't know, Taylor and Hays, who are not normal people, love all these scary movies. And Taylor will just come in here all giggly, and Hays will be all giggly, and they'll giggly talk about this awful movie where people get cut up and gored and just terrible.
So have you not caught up on the 6 Screams, Frank?
Have I not?
You've got time.
Hey, this will shock you, JJ.
Yes.
But the only ones I missed were 1 through 6. Okay.
Well, you haven't even seen Scream 1.
No,
Wow.
I haven't seen it. I'm not going to watch Scream.
What's your favorite horror movie that you've ever seen?
I'm not a horror movie guy.
You've never seen.
You've
seen.
I've seen them all. I don't know that I have a favorite.
Was there one that you thought was the scariest that you've ever seen?
Can I count Nicholson in Red Rum?
Oh yeah, The Shining.
Can I count The Shining?
Oh, The Shining's absolutely a horror movie.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a fantastic movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very scary. JJ, what about you?
Halloween 1, the original.
Oh, that's a good one.
Still creeps me out. I watch it every single year.
Boy, they draw those scenes out in the original Halloween.
The music.
Oh, it is so good.
Creepy.
It absolutely is. By the way, Scream 7 will have Neve Campbell returning as Sidney Prescott.
Well, of course.
Of course. Well, she wasn't in the last one.
Oh, my bad.
Because they wouldn't pay her.
Sorry, my bad.
But Neve got the bag. So she's back and arguably one of the greatest horror roles.
Is there a bad
of all
guy
time.
in Scream? I don't know anything
They
about
always
Scream.
rotate it. That's what's different.
You
Like
never
Friday
know
the
who it's gonna
13th, it's
be.
always Jason Voorhees. Well, I say it's always.
yeah.
It was his mom in the first one and then Jason Voorhees. Nightmare on Elm Street, it's always Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Halloween, it's always Michael Myers.
Yeah.
But in Scream, the killer is Ghostface, and Ghostface is always a different person.
I didn't know.
So you always have to kind of figure out who is the killer this
like
time
a boyfriend or who will have, whatever.
Correct. And so it will be interesting. Kevin Williamson, by the way, who wrote the original Scream in 1995, will direct Scream 7. And that is your pop culture Scream 7 update, Frank. And we will get it to our musical note of the day. We always love signing off with some music for you guys. Today we will honor the great Tom Petty, who died on this day back in 2017.
Oh, wow.
This is American Girl. Hard to believe it's been 7 years since we lost the great Tom Petty.
Boy, it really is hard. It's been 7 years since we lost Tom Petty. Wow, how about that? Great song, great artist, one of the rock superstars from the South of all time.
Were you? When did this song come? Were you in college when this song came out?
No.
Did it resonate since it's obviously based on a terrible story that happened on the campus?
Yeah, I don't.
76.
Oh, 76.
No, I wouldn't. I got there after that.
Yeah. Was it a thing?
No.
No.
Believe it or not, Petty was not as big a thing as you would think among Gainesville people. Now, he became a bigger thing among Gator Nation, but at the time he was evolving. That was Zeppelin, man, and that was Aerosmith, and he at the time when we were in college, Petty wasn't as big as you might imagine. Hard to believe, isn't it?
That is, yeah.
Tom Petty gone. What the great Tom Petty. Back in a moment to wrap the program. Stay with us.
Ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The NASCAR Cup Series will be racing at Talladega on Sunday. It's the Yellowwood 500, second race at the Super Speedway this season. Tyler Reddick won there back in April. This is the second race of round 2 of the playoffs, and because Ross Chastain won at Kansas, none of the 12 playoff drivers earned an automatic berth into round 3. Brad Keselowski and Ryan Blaney are currently the betting favorites to win at Talladega, both at plus 900. Joey Logano plus 1,000. Kyle Busch plus 1,100. Denny Hamlin and William Byron both plus 1,200. This update brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
Stuck on what to do with a plumbing issue? Just call the Duck. Duck Rooter are experts at plumbing and are a 5-star Google-rated company. You name it, they do it. Water heater replacements to sewer drain cleaning, leaks to repipes. Fully licensed and insured with highly trained technicians. Trust the Duck to fix it right. Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Poker players, brace yourselves. The World Poker Tour storms into Best Bet Jacksonville October 31st to November 19th, and the forecast calls for massive prize pools. Event 1 has a cool $200,000 guarantee. Event 6, a downpour of $300,000. And the main event, a flood of a $1 million guarantee. WPT Championship satellites are already brewing. Don't get left high and dry. Head to bestbetjacks.com for details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Sahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees, and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Start your Sunday off with a cup of Joe and some sports medicine intel. This is Joe C. inviting you to join me and Dr. George Bari for Breaking Bones every Sunday morning at 7:30. And if you miss an episode, just look for Breaking Bones wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is Paige, owner of Awaken 180 Weight Loss. People ask me all the time what's healthy, and that's hard because healthy is different from losing weight. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle. There are a lot of foods out there that are healthy foods, but they're not going to support your weight loss. And that's what we're here to help with. We're here to help you get in the healthy foods that are going to help you lose weight. The Awaken 180 difference is our coaches. It's our team. You can find things online about weight loss, but you try them yourself and they just don't work. And that's because everyone is different. And that's what our coaches are so skilled at helping you figure out.
They certainly figure it out. This is Mike Dempsey. And as you all know, I dropped my 25 pounds in just 4 weeks thanks to Awaken 180. They did the work. I just followed my plan. They did the same for Matt Hays, and I'd say they hit the target with Hacker, about to reach the 100-pound mark. Let them do it for you. Reserve your consultation at awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800 for Awaken 180.
Kuhn Flowers and 1010XL encourage you to help those devastated by Hurricane Helene in the Big Bend area of Florida. Kuhn's will be sending a relief truck to Perry, Florida Friday morning to encourage you to stop by their Beach Boulevard location to donate tarps, blankets, first aid kits, bottled drinking water, diapers, flashlights, laundry detergent, towels, and toilet paper. Any amount will help and is appreciated. Their truck leaves Friday morning, so stop by Kuhn Flowers, Beach Boulevard with your donations today.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Although the Jaguars find themselves in a difficult spot at 0-4, the NFL is a place where anything can happen. After many facets of their game seem to have looked improved from the first 3 games, there's still lots of work to be done. One win against the Colts this Sunday has the chance to build lots of momentum for the season. Here's how Doug Peterson sees similarities to the 2022 season.
Nobody wants to be 0-4. Nobody wants to be where we are. We feel like we should be obviously further along. And I'm just sitting there thinking back to that time where it's just kind of very similar. It was kind of a play here, play there, a missed assignment here, missed assignment there that just kept us from either finishing a drive or finishing games back then. I think it's kind of the same thing now.
I'm Max Fink with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
Where have we been today? Talked a lot of Jaguar football. The oddity of the season, 0-4, the only team that hasn't won. And here come the Colts, who the Jags beat in Jacksonville every year for 10 years, on a day where they're wearing the throwbacks, on a day where Tom Coughlin is honored, yet on a day where you need it in the worst possible way. And for all the reasons, because you're 0-4, and this is such a special day, it would sting even that much more if you lost this one. So a critical game for the Jags, no question. We have the State Farm College Football Report. Shane Matthews, Tom Block, Joe Zagacki all came on and talked about the Gators, the Noles, and the Canes, and where's all that stuff headed. So we talked a lot about FSU football and how do they get it fixed. It may be hard for them to do that. That is kind of where we've been. Do want to update you, by the way. Just like that, the Tigers have eliminated the Astros. They went into Houston and beat them. As you know, the wild card series is best 2 out of 3. They went in there and won 2 games. And just like that, the Astros are done. Meanwhile, the Baltimore Orioles, who I picked to win the whole thing, have yet to score. They lost 1-0 to the Royals yesterday, and they're down 1-0 to the Royals today in the bottom or in the top of the 4th. So an interesting start. Tonight, the Braves and Mets are both in action, and we will see the Mets won yesterday against the Brewers. Obviously, the Braves lost 4-0 to the Padres. So a lot of good baseball in the postseason. I'm loving it.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I'll be curious to see the ratings as they start to come in. Boy, did you see what Georgia-Bama got? 12 million.
Yeah.
It was by far the second most popular game so far through week 5. This is from Stuart Mandel of The Athletic. So Texas, Michigan on Fox got a 9.2 million.
And keep in mind that Bama game was on ESPN. So, there's still people out there who don't have ESPN.
This was
it was ABC.
It was ABC.
Was it?
Yeah,
Okay,
ABC. Yeah, Georgia-Bama was ABC, but 12 million people.
Amazing.
It beat the season record was 9.2.
Right.
This got 12.
Isn't that amazing? Yes, it's amazing though.
And it was a fantastic.
Yeah, like I said, all that's wrong with college football, yet it's more popular than ever.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not, whether you like the politics of it and the NIL and the portal and the conference realignment, all the stuff that people hate, it's more popular than it's ever been. And with the tournament, with now its form of December, January madness to compete with March Madness, just wait. You think it's crazy now. Wait till that tournament starts.
Without a doubt.
I mean, there's going to be a tournament. And so it's going to be,
the ratings in December are going to be unbelievable.
No question about that. Hey, Fernando Valenzuela is on the Spanish-speaking broadcast for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's taking a break. He's 63 just for health reasons. They didn't say what it is. He hopes to come back next year. Does Valenzuela resonate with you at all?
Without a doubt, because when I first started paying attention to baseball, he was a superstar. Now, he had already had his great rookie year.
Right.
That happened before I was too young to be paying attention. But yeah, absolutely.
His great rookie year was he actually came up in 80 as a reliever, but then the great rookie year one those was the 81 strike-shortened year. That was the strike-shortened year when he was 13-7, a 2.48. Again, it's a strike-shortened year. So he had 20 decisions. So he probably had 25 starts, 11 complete games.
That's amazing.
You ever heard, JJ? You ever heard of a complete game? They had those.
You know what's crazy is I made a joke about Bob Gibson yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was just on Baseball Reference. I wanted to Google him. I think it was 68.
Yeah.
Was an insane, like probably one of the best pitching seasons ever of anyone. He had like a 1.12 ERA. And out of, I think, 30-plus starts, only 6 of them were not complete games.
Yeah, that's probably 24 complete games.
Well, so get this. Fernando in 1986, this would have probably been the first year that I paid. I was 10, so this was probably the first year that I paid a lot of attention to baseball. In 1986, Fernando Valenzuela started 34 games, 20 complete games.
20 complete games. So why can't they do it now? It can't have changed that much. You know, the world can't have changed that much.
What would you guess he threw? Well, like fastball. What would you guess?
Well, he wasn't a fastball pitcher. The better
crafty lefty guy.
Yeah. So back then, I can tell you, very few pitchers hit 90. Now, maybe that was because of there was the speed. The radar guns were different, but there weren't. It's not like now where if you don't throw 90, you're not in the big leagues. Back then, very few guys did. But no, he was probably a guy throwing mid-80s.
Okay.
Mid-80s. But Bob Gibson, who was a fastball pitcher, he probably threw. He would be the equivalent of today's 99-100 guy, but he probably threw 89-90. You know, Nolan Ryan's the only guy that threw that hard.
Like if you look at Bob Gibson's stats, the strikeout rates aren't popping off at the screen like they are nowadays. Right. Nowadays, the top end strikeout guys, it's way over 9 per 9 innings.
Yeah, that's right.
But back then, I think he topped out around like 7 per 9.
Yeah.
People actually pitched to contact back then, believe it or not. That's an art that we just don't really have anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, my buddy Bill just sent me a text. I was going to mention the same thing. In 1972, Steve Carlton, the Phillies were terrible. The Phillies won like 58 games. Carlton won 27.
That's wild.
He won 27 games in a year where the Phillies won like 50-something. Think about that.
Yeah. I'm looking at
60-something.
I'm looking at Bob Gibson's career numbers now. So in 1968, he started 34 games through 28 complete games.
Yeah, that was
which didn't lead the league. Then the next year.
Which didn't lead the league.
Yeah.
Yes. Then the next year in 1969, he started 35 games, 28 complete games again, and that did lead the league.
By the way, the man started 30-plus games, and his ERA was 1.12.
Pretty amazing.
That's incredible.
And he pitched into the ninth inning.
He won the MVP
how?
that year, too.
I just want to go back and watch all of that.
Yeah, he got the Cy Young and the MVP.
Right. And the greatness of Gibson, I was a kid then, the greatness of Gibson, everybody's afraid of him. So you know the story. At the All-Star games, he wouldn't talk to anybody. he would
Love that.
because he didn't want them to lose their fear of him.
He was a method actor.
He wouldn't talk to him. He didn't want anyone to lose their fear. He wanted them all to be afraid of him. And so he did, which is pretty amazing stuff. A buddy of mine was at a fantasy camp, and like 20 years ago, and Lee Smith, the great reliever for the Cubs, was there. And this is 20, maybe 10, maybe 15, 20 years ago. And my buddy's at a fantasy camp. And you know how that goes. You play with the old timers, and then they stick around and have beers with you afterwards. It's supposed to be great. I've never been. And so Lee Smith and all these former players are sitting around with them, and they said, "Lee, how hard did you throw?" And Lee Smith goes, "With today's guns, about 140." You know what I mean? Because the guns.
That's awesome.
With today's guns, about 140. And so it really is awesome. So, but it's been a fun baseball postseason. It continues to be a very good baseball.
Do you guys think the teams that are resting this week will be the worse for the wear?
It's hard to tell. It's only been like a couple years of this experiment. Right. But I think that this year's teams that are on a bye are a lot better than the wild card teams, honestly. Like the Phillies are really freaking good. I think that the Yankees are pretty good. Yeah. So I would be shocked if the only one where I think that they could definitely get him is the Padres over the Dodgers.
The Padres are good. The
Padres starting pitching is way better than the Dodgers.
Yeah. The Tigers got hot at the right time. Mm-hmm. The Royals, because they have one great player and really good starting pitching, can be a pain in the butt. But the Padres are loaded. The of the teams playing now,
right?
The Padres are really good.
Like I would be shocked if the Mets beat the Phillies. I would be shocked by that.
I would too. I would too. But I tell you, I think they finally got the postseason right. The one game was stupid. The one, and believe me, as a Pirates fan, I hate it because in 13, 14, 15, the Pirates were really good. But 2 of those years, they lost a great pitcher.
Like the wild card to get into the wild card.
I mean, they lost the one, right. There's the one game. It was one game. And both times the Pirates had the better team because they played they were a home game. But one time they faced Jake Arrieta when nobody was hitting him. And the next year they faced Madison Bumgarner when nobody was hitting him. So, and so they wound up losing both one-gamers. So, but I love the postseason. The postseason is fantastic, and I love it. My buddy Kevin Talley just checked in, and he said he's right. They lowered the mound after 68 because of Gibson.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Yeah, they actually lowered the.
That's when you know you're good.
Yeah,
when they have to change the entire.
Yeah, that's
sport,
what makes Bob Hays such a great story. Is they literally had to create zone defense.
That's right. He created his own defense. Yeah. They created his own defense because nobody could run with Bob Hays. Bob Hays his presence is why they invented the zone defense.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, and so same thing with Gibson. So it'll be fun to see. So we'll keep an eye on it. So it'll be fun to watch these postseasons. Do want to remind you now tomorrow. We are back to our 2 to 4 shows on tomorrow, and then you'll have Jaguars Happy Hour and the Doug Peterson Show coming up. It's going to be an interesting weekend, interesting football weekend. I can tell you this, on Saturday night, it's a flip back and forth. I mean, FSU, Clemson, Florida, UCF. It's just so bizarre that UCF might be the best of those 4 teams. Certainly the best. It's hard for me to think that they're not better than FSU and Florida.
There's not a doubt in my mind. I mean, I think UCF is going to beat Florida. Yeah. I, without a doubt, think if UCF was going to Tallahassee, they'd win. Right. I would pick Clemson if UCF, even if Clemson went to UCF, I would pick Clemson. Yeah. But yeah, in terms of the best teams in the state right now, I mean, obviously the Canes are on top, right. And then there seems like there's a pretty significant gap. But UCF, I think, would have to be second. Yep. We'll see if that changes, but I'm not expecting Florida to play well. Yeah. And then they had a bye, and they got to win in Starkville, but I'm just not. They've just played so awful at home. I don't see it happening.
We'll do our picks too, by the way, on Friday. Might have had some movement on the picks.
Oh, yeah?
Might have had a movie. Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, well, the old veteran might have had a good week.
He had
okay?
a good week. Nice.
The old veteran might have had a good week.
The Jags screwed me, man. Yeah. I would have made up so many points.
If Miami had anybody on the planet playing quarterback other than Todd Snoop Huntley, anybody other than him, I would have had an 8-0 week. Okay,
really? Yeah, nice.
I had a 7-1 week.
Wow.
And I went in. I very quietly went into Monday night 7-0.
How about that?
Didn't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they had
I'm proud of you for being so humble.
I know, that's a great week.
Then they played a quarterback who's maybe the worst in NFL history.
Yeah.
How bad were they?
That was atrocious. We watched it because Jean's a Dolphins fan, is her second team living down there for a while. Yeah. So unfortunately we were watching that game and not Detroit Seattle, and it was brutal watching both those teams, but particularly the Dolphins.
All right, let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Injury Care Centers. Discover BioTarget Regenerative Therapy, a safer drug-free solution for lasting pain relief. Visit GoBioTarget.com.
Ballou was ready for picture day today, weren't you?
Huh?
You were ready for picture day.
Yeah, I was.
Like Ballou wasn't going to show up for picture day. You kidding me?
There's nothing I enjoy better than getting up, coming in here at 11 o'clock, driving an hour to come in here, get 3 seconds of a photo, and then turn around and drive back home. Some people complained about it. You notice? Never me. You tell me when and where, and damn it, I'll be there.
There's no doubt about it. Picture day it is.
You know what I mean?
I do know.
19 years with the company, you think maybe I'd get a benefit? No. I was here for it, and I smiled.
I have no doubt. You did. Baseball surprising you at all? Any surprises?
Low-scoring games, American League,
Astros are out. How about the Astros being out? You blink and they're gone.
Unbelievable.
Wasn't that funny?
Really?
Yeah.
And It's been a very interesting year in Major League Baseball. I think there were 25 players who had 30 or more homers, and it was all said and done, only 6 batters 300 or better.
Isn't that amazing? 6.
And if you look
all
at
of baseball,
I was looking at JJ and I looking at Pete Rose's numbers yesterday and everything, and there's only 3 Hall of Famers who have more strikeouts than hits. Reggie Jackson. You would have known Reggie.
I might not have got it. There's 3.
Reggie, Tomey. As a matter of fact, I think it's only 2 now. There'll be a third going in. But if you look at today's stars, look at Aaron Judge. He's got 200 more strikeouts than hits.
Yeah, well, that's how the game.
The game's totally changed.
Yeah.
But think of the great, and I'm not talking about guys that were defensive players. I'm talking about sluggers, guys with more than 400, 500 career home runs. Only 2 Hall of Famers have more. All of today's modern day players have more strikeouts than they actually do have hits.
Well, the great home run hitters all hit 300.
Yeah.
Ruth hit 342. I mean, Hank Aaron hit 300. I mean, they all hit 300. Now today's home run hitters hit 250.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the game's different.
But we're not, and the reason why I raise that is that this isn't exactly small ball, but we're not getting those, beer league softball type of scores now. Pitching becomes a premium once we get to the month of October.
More than, by the way, my theory on this, and it's a conversation for a whole other day, if you ever wanted it to go back, and nobody does, to change, quit giving the high strike. The high strike is why there's more strikeouts, why there's more home runs. If you didn't give the high strike, then there wouldn't be as many strikeouts, and the ball would be in play more.
Well, how many years until those home plate umpires are gone anyway?
That's exactly. But,
it's going to be computerized before you know it.
But they'll give the high strike because it's in the zone. And the high strike is in the zone.
They'll give the strike there. You know what we'll never figure out? Whether or not it's a catch or not.
No, we'll still never know
Friday
that.
night's game between Vatek and Miami, which I did think was an incomplete pass.
But what's coming up tonight?
A lot of college football tonight. I'm going to take a look at that. And John Osher in an hour. The very latest on the Jaguars. So expecting it to be a lot of fun here beginning right now.
All right, Rick Bullock was into the night. That happens right now. Folks, that'll do it for our program. Don't go anywhere, though. You just heard Rick's got good stuff coming up for you as soon as we get off the air. We're out of here tomorrow, 2 to 4, our normal Thursday time. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie. So